Hello and welcome back to my favorite people, and thank you very much for watching this lecture video. Until now, we went through nomenclature of carboxylic derivatives, but I think it's time to go through common chemical reactions of this functional groups. Carboxylic acid by itself is not a good starting compound, and the reason behind it is that we have R attached to a carbonyl group, and the other side we have OH. OH is not a good living group, and so whatever you do, you need to return OH to good living group. And between all these derivatives, the acyl chloride or acid chlorides are the most reactive one. And so if you want to use, like carboxylic acid as a precursor or starting compound, try to turn it to acyl chloride. And as you see, when we go down to amide, the reactivity goes down. There are 4 factors that you need to consider whenever you pick like when you try to design your chemical reactions, or like you have to pick the starting compound. The first one is induction, and then resonance, steric effect, and quality of the living group. And let's focus on the first two items and figure why acyl chloride are more reactive than others, and the amide are the least reactive one. In case of acyl chloride, we have chloride attached to a carbonyl group. And for your knowledge, electronegativity of oxygen is higher than electronegativity of chlorine, and the chlorine higher than electronegativity of, for example, if we put nitrogen, and that's going to be higher than electronegativity of carbon. The electronegativity numbers for oxygen is a 3.4, for chlorine is a 3.2, nitrogen is around 3.03 or 4, and the carbon is 2.55. So clearly, chlorine has higher electronegativity than carbon, and chlorine is going to steal electron density from carbon. Chlorine will get a negative charge, while carbon will get a positive charge. Now that you have a positive charge on carbon, carbon will be thirsty of electron, or it will be electropositive, or the electrophilic character will go up. Also, we have a carbonyl group, and that it can get involved in resonance. Remember, chlorine is already creating a positive charge on the carbon, and I'm showing it as a delta. We can turn a delta to a whole positive charge through resonance. And if we move the pi bond to our oxygen, now we have a negative charge on oxygen, and there will be a whole positive charge on carbon. Now, next step, if you have nucleophile, very soon we'll find a big positive number or big positive charge on carbon, and it will have more tendency to react with that carbon. And this is the reason that acyl chloride are more reactive. You might say chloride also can share lone pair with carbon, and if that one happen, carbon will have a 0 charge. If you look to the charge, electronegativity of chlorine versus carbon, electronegativity is a 3.2 versus 2.5. Chlorine does not want really to have like a positive charge in order to make carbon neutral. That's not going to be the best scenario to stabilize the chemical compound. So chlorine prefer to stay neutral, at least, rather than a positive. And when we switch to amide, again, we have the same story. And so if I copy paste the electronegativities, so let's copy paste those and put them here. We can see that nitrogen has higher electronegativity than carbon. So nitrogen is going to pull some electron density, okay, from carbon, because it has higher electronegativity. But the difference from the 3.2 to 2.5 now went down to 3 to 2.55, and so clearly electronegativity is getting closer to each other. And remember that this carbon, it has sp2 hybridization, so the electronegativity of carbon is not exactly 2.5, it's a bit higher, and it's getting closer to be 3. And because the electronegativity between nitrogen and carbon not that far from each other, the positive charge on carbon is not a huge number. Again, I can have resonance and turn carbon to turn the charge on carbon from plus delta to a whole positive charge, but nitrogen is capable of forming, sharing lone pair with carbon, and if that one happen, carbon, it will be neutral. Okay. Why do we say this resonance structure has more contribution compared to chloride? Because the electronegativity of nitrogen is not terribly far from carbon, and because they are close to each other, the importance of this resonance structure will go up. The overall, the total thing the final point that I want to mention about the resonance here, resonance from nitrogen or lone pair of nitrogen will drop the positive charge on carbon of the carbonyl. Okay, this one, the positive charge here, goes down. When the positive charge goes down, the reaction will be slower, or tendency toward the nucleophile will be less. Okay. Now, we have two more factors. Next one will be the steric, and the final, the last one, it will be quality of the living group. Let's talk about the steric, and then we'll switch to the living group. And the steric effect, you can have a steric effect on R, on X, or on the nucleophile, whatever you are trying to add to the carbon of the carbonyl. Okay, remember that the nucleophile is supposed to be added to the carbon of the carbonyl. Why? Because we do have a pi bond, and breaking a pi bond is much easier than breaking a sigma bond. So first step of this reaction will be addition of nucleophile to the carbonyl center. Now, if the nucleophile is coming with less steric effect, the reaction will be faster. And as you see here, we have methoxide versus tertiary butoxide. And I'm going to say the size for methoxide, it will be smaller than tertiary butoxide. So tertiary butoxide is bulkier than methoxide. And what does it mean? It means when the tertiary butoxide wants to be added to the carbonyl, it will feel some steric effect with the leaving group, or maybe some with the R group. And the more steric effect you have, the slower the reaction will be. I'm going to say the rate of the reaction will go down and the reaction will be slower. So anywhere you increase the steric effect, whether it's on R group, on the nucleophile, or on the leaving group, and all of them, rate of reaction will be slower. Overall, the product, it will be this. You get X out of the system, you replace it by OCH3 plus X minus, and this one will be O, and you will have tertiary butoxide attached to it, attached to the carbonyl plus X minus. Okay, so increasing steric effect will drop rate of the reaction. Last part, it will be quality of the leaving group. How do I pick the best starting chemical compound or the best leaving group? And again, I said that chloride is the best leaving group and NH2 is the worst leaving group. And in order to figure out how to pick the best leaving group, go with this trick. So you have chloride, and then we have O, CO, and here R. Next one is O, R, and next we have NH2. Of course, all of them, they're coming with negative charge. What I'm going to do, I'm going to attach H to them. So technically, I turned them to acid version of them. Now, next step, try to find the pKa for all of them. A pKa for HCl is -7. And for carboxylic acid is around 4 to 5. For alcohol is around 16. And for NH3 is around 33 to 38. Okay. And the one with the highest pKa, it will be the strongest acid. So in this case, HCl is the strongest acid. What does it mean? It means the conjugate base, which is Cl minus, it will be weaker. Okay, so we will have a weaker conjugate base. Remember, this one is the strongest acid. If HCl is the strongest acid, then Cl minus, it will be the weakest conjugate base. Okay, weaker conjugate base means more stable or less reactive. So let's write this. Weaker conjugate base means less reactive, which is equal to more stable. Well, in case of NH2, it's coming from NH3, and the conjugate base, it will be NH2 minus. This is going to be the strongest, so technically it's going to be the strongest conjugate base. It will be the most reactive. Which is equal to least, okay, stable conjugate base. Now, why do I care? Why do I care about, like stability or reactivity? when you add the nucleophile to the carboxylic group, you will be dealing with this. So say we have our group, and here carboxylic group, and then say X, and the nucleophile is supposed to be added. When you add the nucleophile, you also need to break this one at the end. The last step is going to be breaking the technical bond between X and the carbonyl. You need to ask yourself, what's going to happen to that X? Is it going to be stable? If it's stable enough, reaction will be faster. And the way to pick the best living group, look to the acid version of it. If you're dealing with really strong acid, the conjugate base, it will be the best living group. If your acid, the acidic version of that living group, it is mainly base rather than acid, then it's not going to be a good living group, and so you should stay away from it.